Okay, we're going to make a start. Apparently, I'm told that I have to speak straight that way, otherwise you'll cut off my sentences. But I am going to try and look up and down the room, which is quite an interesting thing. Welcome everybody. I'm Linda Bryant. I'm the Chief Exec of Together for Mental Wellbeing, and it gives me enormous pleasure to welcome you to our third Henry Hawkins lecture. I'm just going to say something very small about Henry Hawkins in a tick, but hopefully you understand that Together is a national mental health charity. So we run services up and down the country, accommodation-based services, community services, some advocacy services, and a large criminal justice service in London predominantly. And part of the reason why we're here in Norfolk is because we also run a really successful service across Norfolk, and I'm absolutely delighted to see so many staff from Norfolk and people using our services here this afternoon. And the Norfolk service has been running since 2018, and it's kind of grown and grown. And you'll be able to hear more about the services when you go upstairs and there's stalls. You'll also be able to have a physical health check if you feel like that. You can have your bloods taken, but it's a pinprick. You won't have anyone coming at you with a needle. So, but do check it out. Talk to Chloe, the manager. It's an amazing, amazing service. So in the programme, you'll have read something about the Reverend Henry Hawkins and why he was so important, not only in our history, but in the lives of hundreds of women and men in the Victorian era who found themselves locked up in an absolutely massive psychiatric asylum called Colney Hatch. And you'll see that he tirelessly worked to reconnect them with their families and communities. And here we find ourselves in the middle of Norwich community in this fantastic football stadium, which represents, if you like, part of our theme, which is around physical health and its impact on our mental well-being. And obviously football is a national sport. It's played up and down the country in parks and on the kind of league level. I also play it with my young nephew very badly, and he's brutal. But I don't have shin pads, which is probably a failure on my part. Anyway, I'm excited that we're using this time together to consider the impact of good physical well-being on our mental health. I do not go to the gym or run. You can probably tell that. I'm a very bad swimmer, and I'm a very dangerous cyclist. But I do spend a lot of time outside walking my dogs in whatever direction they drag me. And the reason I mention that is that physical activity is really about your personal interests and your personalities. We don't have to be dressed up in lycra to do it. Again, fortunate for me. And I'd encourage you to keep that in mind as we go through the day and you listen to the speakers about what physical activity means for you. To start us off, though, I'm going to invite Councillor Tom Fitzpatrick, Chair of Norfolk County Council, to open the event by saying a few words. A little bit about Tom. He moved here 17 years ago, so he's, I don't know whether that you would be considered a true Norfolk... 17. He became... the chair of Norfolk County Council in May of this year. He's held roles in the Local Government Association, and the reason I'm mentioning that is it shows a clear passion and commitment to serving local communities, particularly here in Norfolk, and I'm delighted that you could join us, Tom.
Well, thank you very much, and it's a real pleasure to be here and welcome everyone to the Henry Hawkins Lecture. And it's a celebration being held, as I said, here in Norfolk and Norwich for the first time. And I think the great thing about Norfolk, it's a place, of course, which is not only the home of the Integrated Housing Community Support Service, but Norfolk is a place where community, compassion and collaboration are actually deep-rooted in our way of life. And the theme for, as we go on, is the relationship between mental health and physical health. And mental health is something that touches every corner of our society. And we know all too well that people living with serious mental illness face significantly poorer physical health outcomes. For that, the statistics are stark, and indeed the mortality gap is widening. But this evening is not just about acknowledging the challenge, it's about coming together to explore solutions, to share knowledge, and to inspire change. So I'm proud that Norfolk's hosting this event, and even prouder it brings together so many local voluntary, community and social enterprise organisations under this one roof. The next service is a shining example of what can be achieved when we work together, when statutory services like local government and the NHS join hands with the voluntary and community sector. And it's this kind of partnerships that allows us to reach further, respond faster, and support better. So just by way of background, every year the chairman of the County Council is asked to set a theme for his or her year in office. And that theme is usually based on something that that particular chairman holds close to their heart. And it's something which is then intended to act as a focus for their time in office. So my theme for this year is about knowing your neighbour. And based on that, the follow-up is then asking people to be that neighbour. Because at the very heart of every successful service, every meaningful intervention is a relationship. And it's about noticing when someone's struggling, and in particular, in relation to this event, I don't think I need to tell you how important noticing other people is. And it's about making sure that those who live with mental distress are not only supported emotionally, but also physically, and are never left behind due to stigma or indeed silence. And everyone can help make this happen, whether it's just by a friendly word or a greeting to people we maybe see every day, by noticing times we don't see them around, or perhaps by picking up the phone to an agency or family if we think there could be a problem. So Norfolk is very much the way it's outside the city, it's scattered, but it's a county of neighbourhoods, but more importantly, it's a county of neighbours. And tonight, as we hear from leading voices in research, neuroscience, and even culinary expertise, let's remember the work we do is not just about systems, it's actually about people. And if I can turn the page properly, so it's about knowing our neighbours. It's about not just knowing them, but looking out for them, and based on that, building a community. And in particular, we want to build a community where well-being is not a privilege for some, but is a shared priority for everyone. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.